every Wednesday live here at Art Beads. And what we do is we always create together. We make jewelry, sometimes we do bead weaving, sometimes we do wire wrapping. You'll never know what you're gonna get. And I am just one of a team of designers here who come to you each day during the week. So we have lots of fun. So today, what we are going to be working on are these wire wrapped hoops. So these are by TierraCast, and I have two different styles, and we're gonna get to pick which one we wanna do. And I'll kind of walk you through the other one. But one is kind of like a fun, abstract, funky wire wrapping, and then the other is more of your classic stripes, almost in like an ombre. And I see Gail is here. Hi, Gail. So if you are here over at Art Beads and you are on artbeads.com/live, I can see your comments. That's the beauty of doing this live. Now, if you are on one of our other platforms like YouTube or Facebook, definitely comment. We will try to get to those comments when we can. Just note that we can't see them live. So if you want to click on the link in the description of your video, it will take you to this live show. And I see Julie's here and Marianne and Jean Marie. Hello, everyone. Oh, thank you, Laura. It is so fun to be here. I love being able to come here each week, and I have such fun planning out these projects. So, oh my gosh, and Marianne is saying hello to Michelle and Eric too, and they're of course in the background, and Beverly is here. Good morning, everyone. Such positive energy. I love it. We're gonna have a fun show today. So a couple quick little housekeeping things before we get too far into the show. Real quick is just how this platform works. If you click the little heart icon, it shows me little floating hearts. If you click the arrow icon, it will share, and then the all-important shopping bag. So if you click the shopping bag icon, it will show you everything I'm using in the show, including tools. So you don't have to wait for me to describe something or wait for me to say the size. You click on that shopping bag, and then you can add it right to your shopping cart, and I never go away. I stay the whole time. So you can shop, you can look at the different products, you can add them to your bag, all of that good stuff, and I never go away. Oh my gosh, and I'm reading the comments as we go, and I see Marianne says it's a gorgeous 75 degrees in Massachusetts, amazing. And hello to Florida for Sheila, hello. And I'm in California, and we're actually pretty good too. I think we're gonna be a high of 70 today about, so it's actually lovely. I have a friend in Colorado, and she sent me snow pictures this morning, so I know it's very different in different parts of the country. All right, guys, I don't know about you, but I wanna start designing, so I'm gonna flip my camera down, and we're gonna start working. You can see my goodies. All right, so one of the funnest, my favorite part of these shows is getting to play with the supplies and pick them all out. And so what we have here, if we look at my table, so these were the finished samples I did. All right, so here we have the wire hoop. And I'm gonna cut one of these apart to use it as my sample for the demonstration, because I only ordered two of them and I ended up using both of them because they're so different. So here is the wire hoop though, and they're pre-made, which is so nice. It's a really great structure, and it's a very heavy gauge wire as well. Now these also come in gold. I think I have an antique brass, and I put those all in the shopping bag as well. This is the antique copper, and I love the antique copper paired with the Art Beads designer wire in antique copper. It's that really rich, kind of like glowy, rosy antique copper, which I think is so pretty. And you know, antique copper can really vary in the color. So I thought these were a good color match, but I also love the richness to them as well. So I have pulled a 28 gauge wire, and I'm going to be using it. And this was actually one of my first times using a really thin 28 gauge wire like this, and I loved it. I have a couple tips to share though as we work through it. I also have a 24 gauge wire here if you want a thicker wire, and I put in the shopping bag a 26 as well. So remember, if you are new to jewelry making, the higher the number, the thinner the wire. So as you're picking out the wire, just keep that in mind when you're looking at like a 28 is actually quite thin, and then a 24 is going to be thicker, a little heavier. But both are really this beautiful, beautiful antique copper color. All right, so I'm going to be doing the wire wrapping with that. I did pull some findings. I have a couple different earring hooks because I haven't decided yet if these are going to be earrings or not. Oh my gosh, and I see Hannah's coming from Iceland. Oh, that's spectacular. Okay, so fun reading where everybody is from. I'm trying to read them as I go. Okay, so these are really pretty earring hooks. If you see that little cluster of balls on them, I thought that those would look really nice. And these are still lightweight enough to wear as an earring. So I thought that would look really pretty if we decide to make these into earrings. But then I also thought, well, maybe we want to make this into a necklace. So I pulled some pretty chain here. And this is another great thing about these live videos is I can really show you what this looks like. This is a really cool chain. And I see that the banner just popped up for it. So if you want to go ahead and click on that, you can learn more about it. And then this is something cool that I hadn't seen before. So I pulled it as well. And I've been waiting to cut into it until we were on camera together. So you guys could kind of enjoy the fun reveal as well. This is a set. And I thought that was so neat. So maybe if we do turn this into a necklace, we'll use it. But it's this cool chain in that really pretty antique copper. But look, it comes with the clasps and the ends to them. So it comes with a lobster and also an end cap for it. And it comes with jump rings. So I thought that this was actually pretty neat. So I liked that it came with these two pieces here for your clasp. And then it also just came with a bunch of jump rings and they all match. So I thought that was pretty neat and I hadn't really seen that before. And I liked it because it takes the guesswork out of having to match things together. And then I do love this little chain too. I think that one's so pretty and sparkly with those little cuts in it. And Michelle is saying, Julie's been looking in her craft box. She has lots of antique copper. I love antique copper. That was the whole base for the show that I built around. I was like, I need to do something with antique copper because it's such a warm color, especially for fall. I just think it's so pretty. And it might be one that people really haven't experimented with as much, like antique gold or bright gold or silver or antique silver are definitely something we see more often. So I really wanted to do something with antique copper. I think it's just so pretty. So for the beads, I have two different right here. I have this pretty Toho bead mix. So these are beautiful Toho beads and they come mixed, which is great. So for like the project we're doing here is perfect because we have all these different sizes and shapes. And again, we don't have to order individual bead tubes or bead mixes. So I have this rosy color here, this raspberry mix, and this is the one I'm going to use, but I also thought it would be really pretty, this turquoise mix too. And I want to show you this turquoise mix in this bowl so you can see like the variety of beads in a whole tube because I haven't used any beads in this tube yet. And I got this bowl at the thrift store yesterday and I'm just completely enamored with it. That was the prettiest little bowl. Okay, so hopefully that I think that's easier than seeing it on my hands. But you can see all those different bead shapes and colors. You got some bugles in there as well. And it's nice because they're not just one color. You've got a little bit of more like, almost like what I want to call like a jadeite green. If you know vintage jadeite, it's kind of that milky, minty green. And then you got turquoise and you got a darker teal and you have some bugles. So I thought that that was a really fun mix that would go well with the antique copper too. Oh my gosh, everyone's saying they love the blues. Guys, do we need to do this project today in blue instead of, we could do the blue instead of the raspberry. Although I did pull some extra beads to match the raspberry. I pulled some elderberry prestige pearls. So this is a really pretty color. So the elderberry prestige pearls, and then some crystal golden shadow beads as well. Oh, okay, everyone's saying blue. Okay, we're gonna do blue, guys. We're gonna switch it up and do blue. I think the crystal golden shadow will still work with the blue as well. But I have a dream bead, which is a cool shape. And then I have some bicones. Okay, so I don't think the elderberry pearls are gonna match the blue so much as they would have matched the raspberry, but that's okay. Let's dump out the blue since we're gonna work with it. Oh my gosh, everyone's for the blue. I love it. And that's why I love these shows is we get to design together. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna pour out the raspberry real quick just so you guys can see the type of beads that are in the raspberry mix if you do like the raspberry mix. And remember, I've already used a bunch of them from the same tube on my samples. And then I'm going to throw in my elderberry so you can see what the elderberry look like with it. And I'm very happy I bought this little dish. Actually, I bought 2 of them. Okay, so those I think are really pretty too. And they definitely will go with the antique copper quite nicely. Okay, so we have a decision to make. We can do an abstract design if we want. So this is my little like modern art gallery abstract. And then this is more of what I think we're more traditionally used to, which is like stripes. So do you guys want to do the stripes or do you want to do the abstract? And I'm going to cut up the other one to use because I didn't order 3 of these. I ordered 2 of them. Stripes. Okay, I see a couple stripes. Oh, okay, lots of stripes. Let's do stripes. Okay, so I am going to cut this up. Always a little painful to see. Put the beads back in here. Okay, so I'm sure you guys have done this before. If you cut something up, you just kind of carefully cut it apart. I'm going to pull the wire out here when I'm done so that it's not on here anymore. Just let these go down. Stripes today. Yep. Okay. Sounds great, guys. Okay. We'll save those beads to reuse for the future. Okay. So I'm actually going to now just kind of undo all my wire. Oh, and Michelle had a great reminder that we are still running our pre-Black Friday sale. So a great time to save on a lot of these. And these would make really nice Christmas gifts. I know my mind is definitely into the making of Christmas gifts mode. So if actually these would make a nice necklace or earring as a Christmas gift for somebody. So good time to stock up during a sale, of course. Okay, so I'm just carefully unwinding this and it's not hurting my frame at all. Okay. All right, just a couple more to go. All right, and then you can see what this hoop actually looks like. Okay. So now that we got our wire out of the way, this is your foundation. Now, if you've ever tried to make one of these, which is possible, you can get a heavier gauge wire, you can make one of these. It takes some time and it takes some, effort to get it really round like this. So I do love these pre-made hoops by TierraCast so that, I'm going to continue talking a moment. I just saw Susie's comment that would make a great ornament. You're right, it would. That would be wonderful. But I love these hoops. Now, also, there's a trick to these hoops. If you want it for a different purpose, they come undone. So you can actually add things to them, which is pretty neat. Whatever you add to them has to have a little bit of a bigger hole to it to get around that curve. But if you see that, these are actually beadable hoops by themselves, which is pretty neat. Oh, hi, PJ. Guess what? We haven't started yet. So even though you got in a little late, we're just starting and we are going to be making this cool striped effect here for what will be a pendant or an earring. Okay, so here's it is. And when it's intact, it's really nice and solid. So that latches really cool. Like it's a really nice way of latching. I'm also thinking this would be so pretty on top of a Christmas package too, like a really, really special Christmas package. How pretty would that just be tied to the ribbon as well? So the gauge of the wire hoop, I don't know right off. Maybe Michelle or Eric can see if it's in the product listing, if it says what gauge it is. It's definitely thick. I would say at least 16 probably. Maybe 18. I don't know. It feels thicker than 18 to me too. But let's see if it's listed. It's substantial though. This is not bending at all. So, and it does have that nice loop up top. So as we're talking Christmas ornaments or other applications for this, it does have that really nice loop. Okay, so we are going to start with about 24 inches of wire. Like I said, I'm going to be doing the 28 gauge. So a couple things that I've learned with the 28 gauge. One is really soft, which I happen to love because it almost feels more like I'm working with a thread than a wire. So that's a big advantage to it, and it's really, really easy to loop around. Now, the one thing I do want to say is because it's so thin, you want to make sure your ends are very secure. So let me start by first measuring. I have a little measure behind the table, guys. I'm going to measure out 24 inches and snip it. Now, I do love how flexible it is, how thin it is, but because it's so thin, we are definitely going to start by doing quite a few wraps, not just one or two, because I do fear it will come undone if we just do one or two wraps. Now, if you're doing a heavier gauge wire, especially if you're going down into even 22 gauge, you won't have to do quite as many wraps. Okay, so we are going to do some wraps. And we're just holding a wire tail right here, and we're just wrapping it around and in through that hole. Now, I also like this 28 gauge because so far, knock on wood, it hasn't kinked up a lot for me, which I do find a problem when I do a lot of this loopy wire wrapping around a hoop. I have in the past with heavier gauge wires ended up with kinks and it kind of getting a little bit too tangled. Oh, okay. So Julie's saying, when a call comes in, I lose my sound. Any ideas to help? With help this spam calls. Oh, spam calls are the worst. I mean, you could put your phone on focus during the show. That's actually what I do. Is I put my phone on focus so that it's like a do not disturb during the show, and that way when a call comes in, it just kind of blocks it, and I just get notified later when I take that off, but I can't pick up the call, of course, then. Okay, so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Hopefully that's catching because this is such a great similar color combo, but I've got probably about 6 or 7 wraps already. I'm going to even do a few more. Okay, so I'm just going through it, and this is really soft wire. I love it because I'm not getting any hand fatigue with it. Okay, so what I've got here, you see these kind of top loops are not as uniform. They were my starter loops. I'm just literally going to push them down towards my other loops to make it more uniform. Okay, so you see I've got a really nice coil along the edge. Okay, so when I had the other sample, I had a nice big pearl that kind of was the base row with a really dark color. I'm wondering if maybe Michelle, I know she's got a great color sense, can look at the Prestige pearls in 4 millimeters and see if she can find anything that would maybe go with this blue mix. So we can kind of pretend that we had a pearl. But I think we can either go, with this one, we can go from large to small because we got a couple big seed beads, or we can do an ombre. And I think maybe we'll do an ombre. So let's go ahead, and this is what I do, is I line up the beads that I'm going to use ahead of time so that I know which color to pick. Michelle, you do have a great color sense. I think you have a great design sense. We need to see some more of your work too. Okay, so we're just gonna line these up. So this here is a matte. I'd say this is probably like a size 8 matte seed bead in like a matte dark teal. So I'm just lining that up. So I've got those in a row. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick what I can see as the second color in terms of darkness, second darkest color. And it's like a shiny, if we can see that, it's like almost like a silver lined, shiny teal color. So we're gonna do that one next. And I'm not really concerned that some of these are small and some are large because I like that look. It kind of gives us like a patchworky look, like it's a little bit more interest to it when you're mixing different sizes, which is great about the tubes. These Toho bead mix tubes, I really love. I've used them for a lot of different projects. Okay, and of course, if they're Toho, you know they're really great quality, and all the seed beads and bugle beads are gonna look nice and have clean holes. Okay, so this is my second color, and I'm just making stripes. Okay, so my third color is probably gonna be this, again, it's a smaller size seed bead. It looks to be an 11, and we're just gonna put this one next so we can do this ombre. Okay, so then we got our second stripe. Okay, and then I think the third stripe is gonna be this bigger minty jadeite green. Oh, and a tip, because I did run into this with, oh, there's actually another color seed bead in here too. Huh, okay. I did run into it with this, I think it was this one. Yeah, I didn't have quite as many of the, I was gonna make earrings out of this. I didn't have quite as many of this one size bead, so I just put the next most similar bead on the edges. So if you run into that too, where maybe you're gonna make a pair of earrings, I think we'll do a necklace for this one. But if you were gonna make a pair of earrings and you're trying to make sure you have enough of each color, you can kind of fudge it a little and supplement with a different bead on the end, okay? And then we got this color. Oh, that one's darker. Oh, where does that run in our ombre? I think it actually runs right here. All right. And just a couple more of those. And then I want to put crystal golden shadow at the top next to this kind of coppery color too. Actually, I have a lot of stripes. I might have too many stripes. This is the fun of doing this live, is experimenting as we go. Okay, and then I do want the coppery color, and then I want crystal golden shadow again, because I think this kind of brighter copper goes really nicely with the antique copper. It gives it just a little pop. Okay, and then I've got some crystal golden shadow at the very top. Okay, so there is our striping. And now what we can do is we can go back and we can add our beads. So if you notice, this is coming off the top of it. So you see how this is coming off the top. When you stripe across, if you want it to look really uniform, you're then going to wrap from the top down. You see how that is? And then on the next one, it's going to be from the back. And what that does is you don't then have stripes going diagonally. They either are staying on the top or they're staying on the back, and then they look straighter. So that's kind of a little tip if you are making jewelry like this, is when you are striping it, make sure if you are wrapping from the top, you stay on the top. If you're wrapping from the bottom, you stay on the bottom. And I see Marianne said that she did it. What did you choose? Ooh, that's pretty. Good choice, Michelle. I see it pop up in the banner. Super pretty. Okay, so we're just gonna start by picking up our beads on this base row that we laid out. And these are the darkest beads if you wanna do an ombre, but you don't have to do ombre, of course. You can do whatever you like. So we're gonna put a bunch of beads on here, and then we're gonna see if we need to add more or remove some. All right. And I can tell that even this 24 inches was a little bit long. I'm gonna cut in the background here about 3-4 inches, just so it's a little easier to hold. Okay, so you're gonna stripe it across wherever you wanna start your stripes. Now, I think I want them to start about here, so I'm actually pretty happy with that number of beads, but you can always add them or subtract them. So what you're going to do is once you have your beads on here, you're going to hold them. You're going to hold them in place, and you're going to go around that frame again. And again, the beauty of that frame being so solid is that it is a great anchor. So again, when we're doing our wrappings, we're going to go around quite a few times. I would say probably 6, 7 times each. I wish I had that pearl right here. That's such a good choice. Great job, Michelle. We are so lucky to have Michelle helping us. Okay. So what the wrappings do is they act 2 ways. One is they give you that anchor, so it's really strong. Second thing is they provide a little bit of a space gap between the rows of your beads. So they're really kind of doing 2 purposes here. And so if I look at what I started with, I'm going to try to match on this first wrapping the number of wraps. So I'm just going to do a couple more so they have pretty equal right there. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. Maybe one more. Okay. All right, so now here's what we were talking about before. Now that we've done 1 total row, we are now on the back side. So when we stripe it across, we're gonna wind it this way. So I'm gonna pick up the next color and it's kind of gonna sit on the back, which is gonna give this a lot of dimension. Ah, thank you, Julie. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and pick up these smaller beads, which are the next color in the line. And the wire is just acting as your needle, of course. Okay, and I'm eyeballing it as to how many beads. I can always count if you guys want a count, but right now I'm just kind of looking and seeing like, well, what's gonna fit? All right, so if I stripe it across, it's actually not bad. I'm surprised. That's actually pretty good. What you don't want to do is overcrowd it. If you overcrowd it, it's going to bunch up and create like a wave. So what I am going to do though right now is I'm going to trim my tail from my original wrapping along the edge. I'm just going to trim my tail because I need to wire wrap that same area. And oh, beads do not fall off. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go in there. And this is thin enough wire that I almost can even just kind of pinch it with my finger. Okay, did I lose a couple beads? I think I lost a couple beads in that. Okay, so let's get this back in order. You kind of want to check that it's straight with your loop. So you've got your hoop up here. You want to check that it's straight. And then, yep, I lost a bead when I did that. So let me put on another bead. Okay, come bring it down. Do I need more than one? Nope, that'll be good. Okay, so we're gonna stripe it. And again, we're just gonna kind of hold it in place and wrap it around. Oh, Marianne says, loving the colors and all checked out. Oh, that's wonderful. I hope you have fun with this project. So I'm glad you're gonna get it and have some fun. So a quick thing to remember, guys, is during these lives, things do tend to sell out quickly. So the fact that you're watching it live, you definitely are getting first choice at it. Just know that especially during the holidays and during lives, things do sell out pretty quickly, especially focals or focal beads. So if there is something you want, definitely add it to your shopping cart and check out while it's available. All right, so here we did some more wrappings. I love the llamas, Marianne. Okay, so now again, we're up top. So now we're gonna do our next stripe. And our next stripe is gonna be the more traditional turquoise because we're finally getting now into the lighter color palette. Yay! Oh my gosh. Okay, and keep keep adding these little guys. Definitely need more beads, of course, to go across a stripe that has the smaller seed beads. You guys are very fun. I love it. I love reading the comments. I love seeing the emojis. Okay, keep going. Okay. And this one has a little bit too many, so I'm just going to take off 2 of them. I would rather have just the tiniest little gap where there's not a bead versus overcrowding my beads. Okay, and then we're just going to stripe it, and you can kind of pinch these because it's just wire, so you can kind of pinch them, and we're just going to stripe it across and go up through it. Okay, and now we're on the other side. So you can see how this is coming together with the stripes. And then we're on the top side, so now we're going to pick up this next bead, and then we're going to get into some bigger beads. So this is a little bit of a bigger bead than the last one, and then we're going to have our biggest bead that we're going to be using. And we just keep going. Oh, reminds you of the ocean. I would agree, this is very ocean. Love it. I've been daydreaming about the ocean lately. Just starting to kind of get cool here where I'm at, but wondering if I can get another trip to the beach in. All right, so here's the next stripe. And I think that might be 1 bead too much. So here's another case where there's just the slightest little gap along the edge, which we're gonna be okay with versus overcrowding. Kind of like when you're doing bead embroidery too. You kind of are like, you make a decision sometimes just so that it sits straight versus bunching up. Okay, and we're just going through this really nice TierraCast hoop. And I'm putting some pressure on the hoop to kind of hold my beads in place, and it's not wavering. So I don't know if we ever came to a conclusive answer of the gauge of the wire of the hoop, but it is strong. It definitely does not bend out of shape. Okay, and now we're on the back. And I'm gonna move that up. Okay, and now we've got our biggest bead. Marianne got 2 tubes of the blue beads. Awesome. Yeah, they're really pretty. And they're a very good value too. I feel like you get so many nice beads in that tube. Okay, our nice big beads. So it's definitely going to be fewer needed to stripe. So there's our big beads. Oh, Michelle said 15 gauge for the wire. Okay, very good. So yeah, it's a nice heavy gauge. Okay, so we got these beads in here. Okay, so my wire did its first little kink. I'm going to show you how to deal with that. So we're not going to cut it, although I think we do have enough here, but we're just going to take our pliers and just bend it back out when it happens. And then what you can do is you kind of can just straighten it out. And that way you're going to get rid of that kink and be able to still string on beads and not have to cut your wire. Just keep going. All right, so this is what it's looking like from the front so far. So you've got all those ocean blue stripes. Ooh, I could see a seascape leading up to the sky and cloudy sunsets. Oh, that would be so pretty. Yeah, you could do a whole gradation. That would be lovely. Okay, so now just have a couple more rows and then we're done with this piece. So I think I do want to put on these coppers because they are so bright and cheerful. And then we're going to do the crystal. So we're just going to add only one bead to this that was not included in the mix. And then Michelle was great. She did put that prestige pearl in there in that shopping bag. So if you do want to start with a pearl like we did for the raspberry example, you can. Okay, how are we doing? That looks like too many, but here we go. There's that stripe. Let's pull one off. Okay, and we're just going to stripe this. So you could also do this very seasonally too. If you wanted to do the holiday ornament idea, you could for sure do this in Christmas colors. You could do this in pretty like ice blues and crystals. That would be lovely. Trying to think what other, you could do any holiday. You could do Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day. You could do a lot of different themes with this. Okay, and then for this one, we're ready to add our crystals. Yeah, oh, you're right. It does make the blues pop. It's a really nice contrast. I agree. Might have been able to squeeze one extra bead in there. I'm not sure. Okay, final row is going to be our crystals. And I think I don't have enough crystals to do an entire row. So I'm just going to take a copper bead and put it next to the crystals to start. And then let's see how many crystals I can get across here. So here's what the crystals look like with that. Oh yeah, Hanukkah would be good. Oh, flag colors. Okay, those are all good suggestions, definitely. Yeah, anything that you can think of that has a kind of a distinctive color scheme, you can definitely do with this technique. And in some cases, I think there might even be Toho bead mixes of the right colors. Okay, so I think oh, that worked. Okay, so there is that really glittery stripe up top, which has the prestige crystal bicones, and those are 4 millimeters. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to wire wrap around the edge. Oops. Stay put. So you have a choice here. You can either wire wrap the edge going up or wire wrap the gap in between. And it's a little trickier to wire wrap the gap in between, but you can do it. So if you want to do that, I kind of started up top, but I'm going to do the gap in between. So like the bottom you don't see any wire wrapping coils. They're all hidden with how we tucked them. And actually I have more than enough wire. So to make life easier, I'm going to cut off a little bit of it. So there's less to thread through. So I am just going to thread my wire between the last row and the previous row and pull it through, wrap it around to finish this off. And we're going to want to do quite a few wrappings because again, we're using the nice 28 gauge wire, which made this very easy to do without kind of stressing our hands, which is always a bonus. And I'm glad you guys said the blues because I love seeing how these look worked up. So I already was able to see how the raspberry looked worked up, but this is fun to see the blue. Okay. So you're just going to keep doing this for probably, I'd say, a good like 8 wraps. Oh, yay. Thank you guys for the comments. I definitely want to wear this now. And I do love just the touch of sparkle. Okay, so what did I just do there? I think I just went on the wrong side of my row. All right, I'm gonna back it on out, back. Go on the right side. Okay. feel like I'm working with thread, which I really enjoy. Okay, so once you can kind of get the idea. Once you've got a bunch of wraps right there and it feels really, really secure, you're just going to trim your tail. And then you can always go in with your pliers and you just kind of press that tail carefully into the wrappings to help secure it and so it doesn't catch on your clothing or on your skin or anything like that. But there we go. We have a really pretty ombre. I love the seascape idea. I think it feels like that. But you can see it looks neat from both sides. You got the different colors and then the other colors are peeking through. So that is how you wire wrap one of these really neat TierraCast hoops. And you see how it looks in the two different color schemes. So we've got the raspberry and then there's those elderberry pearls. And then we're going to pretend that we see the gorgeous pearls that Michelle picked out down here as a kind of an anchor. So that would be really fun. Ooh, and Marianne tried some crochet with the gauge. Oh, how did that work out? The 828 gauge. Oh, could you crochet with this? That would be really neat. I'm all about crochet right now. All right, so those are our two samples. Now, if you want to make them into a piece of jewelry, remember we have these earring hooks. So let's just look what it would look like on an earring hook. I think it'll work to just pull this back. Does it go through there? Let's see. Might need to add a jump ring. Let's see if it'll sit. Oh no, it'll sit. It will sit. Had to bend it a little, but we'll just bend it back. It's pretty soft. Okay, so that's how it would look with this earring hook. And I think the color is a really good match. So I think I had it backwards, but there you go. And then if we wanted to do a necklace, we could definitely use something like this cool chain set. Kind of nice. It shows you the necklace lengths on the back. Okay, let's just pull this out. And you know what I could almost see? I mean, we could totally put a clasp on this, but I think that there's enough that this could be one of those necklaces that just, look at that, there's a ton of chain. This could be a necklace that just slips over your head, which I'm quite fond of. And actually for gift giving, I like doing that. So you do have the clasp that comes with this. Let me see if this is this a bail or, nope. Okay, so this is not the other half to the clasp. This is a bail that comes with this set. Okay, that's good to know. So the other half of the clasp is going to be a jump ring. So if you do use this as a chain clasp set, you'll do it with the jump ring. That's neat that it comes with a bail. Okay, so actually we could put the bail on there and then hang it. Why don't we try that? Okay, so since we're just kind of experimenting here, where I saw a jump ring somewhere that connected the clasp. Did I miss it? Okay. Here it is. Okay, so there is a little jump ring right here that is anchoring the two pieces of chain together. So we're just going to open this one up. Okay, slide that off. Well, we couldn't, yeah, let's leave that like that for right now. Let's put on the little bail since it came with it and was so nice to do that for us. Slide it through the chain. Okay, so there it goes. So we've got that bail on there now. And then I'm just going to reattach that jump ring. I really do like slide over the head necklaces. So my mom has a hard time with clasps, and every Christmas she asks for handmade jewelry that is slip over the head. So that's kind of nice to be able to do that. And so maybe she'll get this as a Christmas gift. Okay, so we're just going to connect those chains back together so we have a nice long necklace. Okay, and then we got that bail. And we're just going to use one of the jump rings that this set gave us to attach our pendant to it. I want the sparkles facing out, for me at least. So I'm going to make sure that that's the front. And we're done. All right, there we go. So we have a completed necklace here. And then again, this is what it would look like with the earring hook. So you can see that, and they are all in the shopping bag. So if there's something you like, definitely pick it up now. Like I mentioned before, I know that we do have things that sell out. So this is a really fun project, I think, whether you're making for yourself or as a gift. And this is what it looks like in blue. Great idea, guys, to do it in blue. And then here would be the raspberry. So really nice, very different, very distinct. Oh, Elsa, welcome. So if you did come in late, you can definitely catch the replay. All of these are saved, so you can always go back and rewatch later. Or if you're ordering the supplies for this and you want to go back and redo it with me, just watch the replay, and of course all of this is saved. So there are two, yay. Okay, I'm gonna flip my camera up, guys. Thank you for the hearts. I'm glad you liked this project. It was really fun to plan out. Okay, all right, yay. Okay, that was fun. Let's see what it looks like against me so you guys can see the scale. So I've been wearing my great-grandmother's diamond, so I have my necklace on. I've been keeping her close to my heart. So, but I have this, so you'll see what this looks like. So I had this as a long necklace. Here you go. So this was nice and long. You could cut it to any length you want, or you could wear it up high. So you could do that. You see that sparkle catches there. And so you could do that. Or if you are doing it as an earring, you can see the scale, and it's not too heavy, guys. It really isn't, because I'm pretty sensitive. So even with this nice thicker wire hoop, it's not very heavy at all. So I feel like it's pretty comfortable to wear. So great idea for a gift. If you want to give someone a gift, I think the necklace is a super versatile gift. But whatever you want to do with it, or wear it for yourself, or make it in Christmas colors and hang it on the Christmas tree. I love that idea. So this was fun. Thank you. Thank you, Laura and Julie and Beverly. This was fun to do. And I will be here next week as well. And actually, next week is special. I'm going to be coming to you from the warehouse. So got some traveling, but it's going to be so much fun. So lots of fun things coming up our way next week. And have a great day. If you got things in your shopping cart, don't forget to close them out while they're there. And I will see you next week, and check out Becky tomorrow and Sarah on Friday. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for all the fun, and thanks for the suggestions.